What up, y'all? It's DJ Envy.
And I am Gia Casey.
And this is another edition of the KC Crew.
Welcome. Hello, 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 beautiful people.
Now, shout out to all of you guys. Now, I need you to do something before we start the show. I need you guys to subscribe to our YouTube. Now, every week, we're going to send out a KC Crew package, all right? Now, the KC Crew package is going to have wine glasses or a coffee mug or some dope KC Crew socks or one of these hats like that. And we're going to send it to somebody every week. So we need you to subscribe to our YouTube page. So subscribe. Make sure you go to our YouTube page, subscribe. And every week, Ben is going to be shipping something a week just to say thank you for rocking with us. All right? Now, happy Valentine's to everybody out there. Last time we spoke to you was before Valentine's. And for Valentine's, since everything is closed here in New York and New Jersey, we decided to make it a family date. So we went bowling.
Yes.
Which was pretty fun. And the reason I wanted to go bowling, now let me break it down, is a week, I would say a couple of days prior, Ben's, Gia, and one of the kids' parents, they went bowling. They did a play date bowling. It was safe.
We're one of the kids' parents. I said, we're one of the kids'
Well,
parents.
the other kids' parents.
We were on a play date.
Play date, right?
Yeah.
But the reason we like bowling is because you can, separate yourself. You don't have to be close to each other. You can separate with lanes. So they went bowling and they were talking about how well they did. And Ben's was talking about how she watched
I wasn't talking about how well I did.
No, Ben's was.
Okay. Let's
now,
clarify that.
If you bowl or if you don't bowl, most amateurs try to get over 100. Right? I think Ben's got 92 at one time. I think she got maybe 101, like barely over 100. And they were talking smack. And I was at home because I didn't go on a play date. This was a girls only play date plus Jackson, right?
And one of his friends.
And one of his friends.
Yeah.
So I said, for Valentine's, let's go because the kids had so much fun. Let's go again. It's safe. You can wear your mask. Now they separate through lanes, the bowling alley. So the lane to the left, there's nobody there. The lane to the right, there was something in the middle, and then there was another lane. So we was totally away from everybody. Had the best time. Of course, we had bowling alley food, which is chicken fingers and French fries and wings and mozzarella sticks and pizza and all that stuff
Garbage.
we shouldn't be eating. Yeah. And we bowled. So, Gia was like, I'm going to out bowl you. We should bet. Gia's whole thing is she wants to bet. She wants to bet on everything, right? So I watched to the first game, right? And it was just my warm-up game. My arm was a little hurting, so I had to get myself into it.
Your arm was not hurting.
Do you remember what I scored the first game?
My arm was hurting because I bowled 3 games with Ben's and my other adult friend 2 days before. So my arm was sore. I broke 3 nails. 1, 2, 3. So this is evidence of what I went through that day.
Okay. Do you remember when I bowled the first game? It was just a warm-up. That's why it was kind of
I don't really remember.
I remember. It was 147. My first game was 147, and I was kind of off. I didn't like that. So the second game we did, do you remember how many spares? How many strikes I got?
Listen, I'm not going to front. You don't got to do all of this.
It was 9.
I'm not going to front. You
9 strikes.
Bowled excellently.
9 strikes.
I was shocked. And I'm not a hater.
I think I bowled like a 230.
I'm not a hater. I'm competitive, but I'm not a hater. After you were in at about your 4th strike, I was like, yeah, it's a wrap. Yeah. Now I could just kind of throw the ball. I don't really have to try. I don't have to stress my arm out. I don't have to mind breaking a 4th nail. I'm a chill. You had it.
It was no competition, so we bowled. But
I don't know where that came from.
It wasn't about
because you usually suck.
Never suck. Never try.
You have, Rashawn.
I have my own.
You have
ball,
always sucked. You had your own bowl and shoes in college. When's the last time you saw that bowl and those shoes?
Doesn't matter.
That answers the question.
I seen it downstairs.
No, you didn't.
There's only one person that ever outbowled.
No, you didn't. There's only one person that in the history of bowlers that's ever outbowled him. Hold on a minute. Let's be very, very clear. Your typical bowling score is like in the 120s.
No way.
That is very normal and average for you.
No.
Oh, yes, it is. No. Oh, yes, it is. To get a strike or 2 during a game is a very, very big deal for you. I don't know. No, for you. For you. I don't have amnesia. I remember what you used to do at the bowling alley.
You do.
Oh, I remember. Excuse me?
I said, obviously you have amnesia.
Rashawn, please, you know you were terrible.
And segue?
You were terrible.
The only person that can hold me down in bowling is your mom. Norma.
This is
the only one that can bowl with me.
She would wax everybody.
And she bowls disgusting. She has no spin on it, but she knows exactly where to put the ball in the pin.
And she walks up there nice and slow. She stands at the line. She brings her arm back and she chucks it. strike, strike,
Yeah.
strike, strike, strike.
She's the only one.
9,
She's the only
spare.
one. Yeah,
Like
she's the only one.
she's
She gets busy,
amazing.
She gets busy. Madison was trash too. She couldn't bowl for nothing anyway.
No, she was all right the first game.
She was all right. Second game she was trash. She couldn't even break 60.
Mm-hmm.
That's rude. Oh, there's Madison right now. But anyway, so that was our Valentine's.
Madison just looked over the banister and said, "That's rude."
But so, on some funny thing, on some slide stuff that really, really surprised me. So after we bowl and I bust their ass. Everybody's all butthurt. So we come home. They're all crying. Logan is like, I want to go hang out with my friends. So I'm like, all right, whatever. He was like, all right. So you know me. I'm an overprotective dad. So I open up the app to see where he's at. And when I see where he's at, I see he's in Hoboken. Now, if you don't know Hoboken is, they have a couple of restaurants.
You might be about to do too much. All right,
you're right.
Like, what are you doing?
You're right.
Like, what are you doing?
You're right.
Stop it.
Anyway, so on the way back from Hoboken.
Let's just say on the way back from Hoboken. Go ahead.
Mom is like, yo, you went to Hoboken? He was like, yeah. He was like, Mommy said, you went to go look at the skyline with you and your homie? And he was like, no. So now, mind you.
Why are you telling this story? Can you just nix this whole story?
Logan went to Hoboken with a chick to look at the skyline on Valentine's.
Sean,
I was kind of.
You have to cut this whole part out. You can't say, I don't know if he got hoes. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. We have to cut all of this.
Anyway.
I'm just saying, you can't even put my son's business out in the street like that.
All right, anyway.
You want to talk about he's throwing pops at people from the second level of the mall? That's fine. You want to talk about him getting in trouble? That's fine. Like, you can't put his business out in the street like that.
Hey,
you might be getting him caught up right now. What are you doing?
Don't say nothing. But I was surprised. I said, okay, all right. All right, Logan.
You still talking?
I said, all right, Logan.
You still talking?
That kind of shocked me. I didn't see Logan like that. He jumped in the car, went and got and I said, okay, Mr. Romantic guy, you get it from your daddy. I said, all right.
Mm-hmm.
Next, where we going next week?
Where are we going next week?
We going to Hoboken next week.
We look at the skyline?
We going to look at the skyline.
You catching some G?
That's right. I was
from
surprised.
Your 17-year-old?
I was surprised. But yeah, that was our Valentine's. So hopefully you had a great Valentine's.
Mm-hmm.
So what I want to talk about is a video that I'm going to play right here.
So I don't know. My lawyer's not answering my call. So I did reach out to see my parameters, but you ain't calling me back. So figure it out when we get to court. So I'm in my room. All right. So in my opinion, Jalen was the kid that I never had to worry about the phone ringing. Shay, the teachers, the school's calling all day long. That's already the background. Not that he's bad, but he's just busy. He's curious and he's slick. So Sunday night, I'm in my room. I remember I was watching Power. And I just start getting a flood of texts saying, I don't appreciate how you talk to my little friend so-and-so. You're a bad mother and you need to check yourself. Like, it was just real. I could tell it was a kid because the spelling and the juvenile. And I said, you shouldn't be texting adults, especially people you don't know. Mm-hmm. You're bad. Shay's bad. And both of y'all I need to take y'all over my knee and with both of y'all. And then this person, a little girl, bitch, I wish you would. And all
let's get ready to
Ding, ding.
What age is this? What age is this?
I think she had to be 11. No, it might have been 11, 12, 13, 10 or 11. Cursing me out. So my thing is, first of all, that's elder abuse.
I never heard of that. I never heard of elder. It's a new one.
Think of it when the cops be at the door. You think of it real quick.
Let me ask you a question. It's a new day. It's a new day. Those who live in the suburbs, was she black or white?
White. White. Yeah. And what's crazy is that I called the mom. I called a friend of I didn't know what was going on. And my thing is, don't put me in Shay's shit. Like, I know I'm his mother.
Hold on, who the hell are they supposed to put in Shay's shit? You the mom.
If not you, I know I'm the mother.
That
boy shit. Wow. I'm watching Power. Don't put me in that boy shit.
Right. Y'all love, hate. Don't put me in y'all mess because tomorrow y'all be friends again. And then as it is, I'll be in trouble with the law.
As always.
But she kept on. So then after that, after I said the whole whipping, I called the mom who knew her mom. And that mom is like, well, she's raised by her grandmother. Her mother just got out of jail and blah, 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 blah. So the mother may not respond the way you want because the mother's letting her get away with things because she's trying to overcompensate from not being there.
Gotcha.
So I called the mother, and the she's like, do you know what your son did? And I said, I'm not here. I do not defend Shay. I mean, I will if he's bad. Basically, I said, I know who my fucking kids are. Like, I'm not that mom. I know. But he didn't call your phone and text you and start cursing you out. Your daughter messed with me and she don't know me. Right. She's like, you're right. I can understand your point. And I said, now the issue with them, they need to resolve it. And us as adults, we need to start, we can manage from the background, but they have to start figuring out how to relate without us jumping in. I said, but when she called me, that's when she overstepped. She was like, you're right. She called the daughter, made her apologize. Then the next week, it's Halloween, and the little girl starts texting again with the I only apologized.
Because
was
forced to? What?
Shit.
Wow.
Oh, she sent you the text message kind of like, don't get it fucked up.
Right,
I really don't like
you.
She was bullying me.
You're a real one.
So what are they charging you with? What are they trying to charge you with?
So now where does it go from there?
The charges got knocked all the way down because then she, on her phone, she had threatened to murder Che. She was like, when I see you, I'm gonna murder you with my bare.
How do we get to murder that fast? What the hell?
But I told him snapshot that.
Right.
Because I know they're gonna try and come up with some charge against you. And thank God we snapshotted it because they went in court with a whole bunch of bullshit. And when we were able to show that little Miss Innocent ain't little Miss Innocent, the judge was able to see both sides. And then when he saw me, and I was like, Your Honor, I'm a single mom. I do the best I can. I have an older son who's in the #1 prep boarding school, #5 in the country.
Yeah.
Che is slated to be in advanced math next year. They're this, they're that. He goes, what do you do? I said, I'm a broadcaster. I said, basically, I'm a star. I always lead with the star shit. I said, and I got human with him. I said, but Your Honor, I don't play that crap. No disrespect. I'm old school. And kids don't be talking to adults. You don't call. He was like, I agree with you. These kids are bold. And I said, so she shouldn't have called my phone, but I already got in his behind. And the judge was like, son, I think that you'd be in way more trouble with your mother if you ever do something like that than any court could ever do. No, he knew I was real. I don't be interrupting people when they trying to like watch Power. So then they had to knock my stuff down to, it was like, was it terroristic threat when you threaten to take someone over your knee, even if your child is included in that group of the threatees.
Really?
Damn.
So now it's down to, I think, resisting arrest. Which thank God for body cam, because my lawyer told, because the cop is a racist. He's a racist pig.
How did you get arrested?
Oh, so the cops come to my house 3 weeks later, and they say, so she waits 3 weeks, she flips it and says that I threatened her daughter, like she did the whole thing. She did the whole thing. And I'm trying to tell him, me and her already spoke about that. And the daughter texted me again saying I didn't mean it. And then when I called the mother again, she didn't know it was me on the phone because we were on a 3-way with another parent who connected us. And she goes, if I ever see that Che's mother, bitch, I'm going to break her neck. I'm going to do this. I'm going to. So you know me. I'm like, where are you? If I can bring the neck.
Right, Queens, what up?
But because she's friends with all the white friends, they're all friends out here. So she's friends with the cops. But so my lawyer was like, thank God for the body cam. So he told the judge, we need to bring the cop in here before you hear the case because the body cam is completely contradicting to what his report is. So, yeah. And so he came to my house in the middle of the night saying, we have some questions for you. We need you to come down to the station. Said, I'm not leaving my son alone at night for some stuff that happened 3 weeks ago. So this clearly is not an emergency because then you'll be calling Child Protective Services on me because I haven't leave a child behind. So then he puts his foot in my door and won't let me close the door. So I call my cop friend, who's a black cop at the town over, and he tries to talk to him. And he takes my phone and throws it down and goes, I don't want to talk to you anymore. And goes, turn around, you're under arrest. I said, how am I under arrest? You're under arrest for resisting arrest. I said, you never even said I was under arrest. So how am I resisting an arrest that I was never placed under? And what am I being arrested for? He could never tell me, never gave me a phone call, never nothing. It was totally white racist cop coming to black woman. And then he said, and your son's going to spend the night in Child Protective Services. They called Child Protective Services. So now he's traumatized.
Wow.
No, his fucking ass needs trauma, because stop fucking with these little kids and getting entangled with them. They're not your friends.
Not your friends.
Wow. I will say, just to be consistent, this is just a Tuesday in Josie's life. It's a Tuesday.
So if you don't know who that is Miss Jones. And I do a podcast with her. I do a couple of podcasts with her. It's called the Miss Jones Reunion. It's the Miss Jones Reunion Morning Show. Of course, if you heard any of our podcasts, I used to do a morning show with her. And we're doing a reunion show, just bringing back some of the history that we have for a couple of episodes. And then she's going to continue on her podcast and call it Conversations with Miss Jones. But this particular podcast, you see, she was talking about her son. So I wanted to bring it up because I wanted Gia's opinion of what you would do. So let me ask you, what would you do if at age 11, Logan was going back and forth with a girl, they got into an argument, and the girl texted you and called you a bitch and said, it is what it is, whatever. Then you go to the girl's house. The girl's mom makes the girl apologize, right? Then they get into another argument, and then she texts you again and said, I only apologize because my mom was there. But fuck it, it's whatever it is. It's on site. What do you do? I just thought that was so crazy. I was like, how old was this girl? She was like 11. And I had to ask her, I was like, was she black, white, Asian? She was like, she's white. I said, okay.
Oh, she was?
Yeah.
Okay.
So now what do you do in that situation? I'll tell you what I do.
Do you want to tell me what you would do first?
I'll tell you what I'm going to do first, right? So if you see, Miss Jones got in trouble because Miss Jones said, yeah, I should put both of y'all on my knee and spank y'all. Now, that wasn't a threat, but in that town, they took it as a threat and tried to lock her up for it. Anyway, now what I would do is this.
Which is so ridiculous.
Very ridiculous. Now, what I'm not going to take is disrespect, right? I don't take disrespect from my kids, and I'm definitely not taking the disrespect from an 11-year-old that's texting me out the blue, right? Not going to front. I got cousins for that. But I can't do nothing, but my kids have cousins and second cousins and third cousins for that. Not only that. Now, we raise our kids in a way where we teach them how to protect themselves. Whatever it is, clothesline, box, bite, whatever.
I don't teach my kids how to bite. I don't know about him.
If an 11-year-old called my wife a bitch,
you gonna bite her?
I can't bite her. Even though I did trip that one girl in kindergarten. Remember when I tripped that one kid?
Yes.
That was bullying Madison. I did trip one little kid, but that was a long time ago.
Yeah,
that's the old envy. The new envy. I mean, I think I would have to get one of Logan's siblings to check her. Because I couldn't check her. You couldn't check her. So Madison might have to pull up on her and be like, yo, let me talk to you for a second. And might have to slap fest her one good time. Bang, bang. Just one, two piece. You call my mother a what? A what? Say it again. Bip, bip. I didn't hear. Say it again. Bip, bip.
Is that a poke in the eye? Or is that like a poke in the neck? I'm not really sure what that was.
Yeah, because you can't make a fist.
Do that again?
You got to hit him in the gut. Boom,
boom.
boom.
Boom. You poke him in,
boom, boom.
You poke him in the gut?
Boom, boom, yeah.
Oh.
Because that's the reason why somebody's being disrespectful. You're being disrespectful because you never got the hand of God on you, right? I will never call somebody, my elder, a bitch. Never at that age. You know why? Because I got the hand of God on me. Whether that came from my grandmother, whether that came from my aunt, whether that came from my mother or my father. I got the hand of God on me before, and I know what it feels like. Obviously, that child has never received the hand of God. Right? Would you call somebody else's parent a bitch?
I wouldn't have.
Why?
Because I was taught respect.
Because you got the hand of God on you before.
I've definitely had...
Your mother put the hand of God on you
my mother's hand on me several times.
So
yes.
Now, if you're in that situation, what would you do?
You might be shocked at what I would do.
What would you do?
Honestly speaking, I wouldn't be as infuriated as you are.
11-year-old girl, it's a little bitch that's on sight when she sees you?
No, I wouldn't, because my common sense would tell me that it's an 11-year-old kid. What do I care about what an 11-year-old child who doesn't know much about anything is saying to me or what she calls me?
Yeah, that's the problem.
I would probably say to myself, like, wow, what a little disrespectful child. She has no home training. And beyond that, she wasn't provoked into this situation. She's extremely bold. Like,
you might have to be like,
I don't like to use the word bad children. You know, I don't like that.
All right.
But she might qualify as like something close or on the precipice of being a bad kid. She might have a troubled upbringing. She may not have a particular parental figure.
I think her mom just came out of jail. I think Ms. Jones just said.
Okay, it makes sense. Hold on a second.
Make it right.
She may be missing things in her life that disallows her from understanding how out of the stratosphere of okay that is. Do you know what I mean? So I would see that and say, wow, she's probably a troubled child in some way, shape, or form. No, I wouldn't text her back. I would probably send the text to her mother.
What about this? Hold on.
Can I finish? Can I just finish?
What about if you texted her back, right? Oh, you call me a bitch? Now I'm gonna fuck your mother up.
Wait, hold on. What?
Oh, you call me a bitch? Now I'm gonna punch your mother in the face.
Wait, who said that?
If she called you a bitch, the 11-year-old called you a bitch, then you respond back, okay. Like, so if she, like, let's say the 11-year-old called me a bitch.
Why would I be punching her mother in the face? What sense are you trying to make?
Because you're not raising that kid proper. So if an 11-year-old girl called me a bitch.
So her mother deserves for me to punch her in the face.
Absolutely.
You're kidding, right?
If an 11-year-old called me a bitch, I'm like, you know what? Where's your daddy? I'm gonna fuck your daddy up.
That sounds crazy.
Okay, good.
Because he has a disrespectful child, he deserves a black eye. Like what you're saying doesn't make any sense.
Because one of my kids, any one of them, called an adult a bitch,
you deserve a black eye?
I deserve a black eye. Because after I get the black eye, I'm fucking them. Like, there's no way that...
You're going to pay it forward?
Absolutely.
Yes.
So go ahead, let me hear the story. Let me hear how you're not going to do anything because
I wouldn't.
She had a troubled past.
I would think
and
so.
You would take her shopping to Victoria's Secrets.
Victoria's Secrets?
I don't know, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to do any of that. I would probably screenshot the text and send it to her mother and leave it up to her mother to decide what to do with her. That's it. That wouldn't bother me.
You're getting soft.
I'm getting soft? No, I don't think I'm getting soft, but you have to understand, like I said before, it's a child. How can you as an adult let an 11-year-old child infuriate you like that? How?
You're getting soft. You're not the gear, I know. and I'm going to show you something.
If this were a 19-year-old, a 20-something-year-old, that's a different story. This is an 11-year-old child. What are you trying to show me?
I want to show you one thing, right? And this is how I know that you're not the same old gear, right?
Why?
Hold on. Okay, here it goes right here. I just want you to read the headline. Read it out loud. Read it out loud. I'll read it out loud.
Oh, that's
Couple
funny.
arrested for shooting woman who shushed them in Atlanta movie theater, right? Now,
I know where you're going.
The reason I'm going to bring this up is because I said Gia has changed, right? One day, Gia and I are at a movie.
I wouldn't shush an 11-year-old.
I'm not saying about 11-year-old.
Okay.
I'm going to say you're getting soft. So we're at the movie theater and I'm minding my business. Now, this was the time when I weighed about 149 pounds.
And we're extremely soft.
I was never soft.
You were definitely soft.
I was never soft.
You were so soft.
I would try to fight anybody. What are you talking about?
No, not in that movie theater that day. Tell a story.
Don't you remember when we was at, what was it?
I could give you about 5.
Adventure, a bush park, and them dudes was looking at you.
This Busch Gardens.
I said, what's up? What's up?
Oh, because they were looking. You were like, what's up? And then what did you do? You walked towards the exit and we got in the car and left. That was soft moment number 3.
It was 8
I could fill in about another 2 more.
Capping. But anyway, so in Atlanta, I just tell you about the story that a lady got shot for shushing somebody. We were in a movie theater one time and I was 149 pounds wet, minding my business. I just got popcorn and my little Coca-Cola, right? I sit down and the dude behind her, I guess, kicked Gia's seat, right? So, or they were talking, one or the other. So Gia shushed them.
They kicked my seat and they were talking.
So Gia shushed them, right? So
no. First, I didn't shush. First, I said, you know what? Maybe they don't realize how loud they are. Maybe he didn't realize that when he shifted his body, he kicked my chair. So I didn't do anything the first time. The second time, I just turned around and looked, and turned back around. The third time, but I'll let you.
Gia turns around and wants to start war with this young man and his girlfriend.
No, it's about the fourth time that he kicked my chair.
Dude is like 6'5", 245 pounds, all diesel. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get my ass whooped right here in this movie theater. It'll be the second time I got my ass whooped in front of Gia. That's what I'm thinking, right?
Go ahead. What?
It's not funny.
That's what I'm thinking. I didn't deserve the death stare.
I'm like, yo, this is gonna be the second time I get my ass whooped because dude is big. But luckily, dude must have seen me and he was just fearful of me and was like, he just fell back. And we finished watching the movie. But I ain't gonna lie, I don't even remember what movie it was. But I hated the movie.
That is not what
the whole
happened.
time, I was waiting for somebody to punch me in the back of my head. So the whole movie, I'm doing like this the whole movie.
That is not, Rashawn.
Just in case he swing, I'm like, God is with me. Whole movie.
You really just turned that into him backing down because he had a fan moment?
That was
You sound crazy. That is not what happened.
Gia got up, that was the tough gear. This new gear, oh, I would just I would just ignore it, send it to her mom, and then take her to Applebee's to get some
grown people versus an 11-year-old child. Listen, I just don't like disrespect from adults. Every time that he moved, he kicked my chair. Unless he has a numb foot, he had to know that he was kicking my chair. And it was never, pardon me. It was never, excuse me. It was never a, my bad. It was nothing. It was like, take that. Take it again. Take it. It got to a point where I'm like, yo, am I just like, do I have bleep head written on my forehead? You know what I mean? Like, do I have sun knee written on my forehead? Or does my man have something? Oh yeah, you did that day. Okay, so when we got into it, that's pretty much what I communicated to him. And he was like, oh, my bad. I know, but you didn't have to. I was like, I didn't have to what? You wanted me to let you kick my chair 20 more times before I said something? Like, come on, like, have a little respect. So yeah, but I've gotten into little beefs at movie theaters for the same thing because people are so disrespectful in movie theaters. Like when they're sitting right behind you and they are having full-fledged conversations or taking a full phone call or just sitting there with their phone texting and their phone's going off and everything. It's like, come on, the whole movie theater is silent. You're the only one making noise. And how do you always find your way to be behind me? So
Tough Gia, what would you do in this situation?
Tough Gia wouldn't do anything because this isn't a tough situation. This is a child. I'm not bucking up on any 11-year-old ever unless she puts her hands on me.
You wouldn't send none of the kids at her?
No, I wouldn't do anything. I would send a text to her mother and let her mother deal with it. That's it.
All right.
That's it. It's not my business.
All right.
Your little disrespectful child is not my problem.
All right, well, let's get. I'm curious to what you guys would do in that situation. So please email us.
Please don't side with him.
thekcrew@gmail.com. TheeKcrew@gmail.com. You can DM us, or we're gonna post about the podcast, so you can put whatever you want on the bottom of the podcast and let us know what you feel. All right. So now, let's get to the email of the week since Gia is so soft. All right. I want to start off by saying that you two are one of my favorite couples and I enjoy watching your podcast, especially DJ Envy. I love him so much. Gia, you are so lucky to find a man like him. He's tall.
Now y'all know better, right?
He's light.
Okay.
He's handsome. He's strong.
He's soft.
He has nice hair. And it looks like he has a real big... Not nice. You shouldn't be looking. But anyway, she says, I'm reaching out because I need your help. I met a wonderful man 3 months ago, and he's really special. He says what he means, and all of his actions show that this relationship can be promising. We were introduced to a mutual friend on my birthday, and we hit it off immediately. He's really affectionate and has shown on several occasions that he wants to take things to the next level sexually. There's one issue that I'm terribly ashamed to discuss with him, and I don't know how much longer I can avoid this topic. I have been suffering from vaginismus. I don't know. Vaginismus.
Let me see. Where is it?
Vaginismus.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost like vaginismus. Anyway, vaginismus since I was 20 years old and I'm now in my mid-30s. Vaginismus is a condition that makes it very difficult at times, almost impossible to have sex. For me, it feels as if it's a burning dagger is being inserted in me every time.
No.
You kind of got that feeling every time too, right? My relationships tend to end because I can't have sexual intercourse. I love having oral, but it doesn't seem to be enough to keep my relationship alive. I've put off dating for a very long time, 3 years, because I didn't want to deal with being dumped due to having this sexual condition. I don't want to lose out on another relationship and was wondering, how do I go about bringing up this topic with my new partner?
Wow, I've never heard of that. I've never heard of that. Wow. I would start by saying that I have a few questions. Can you Google something really quick? Can you Google, is there a cure for vaginismus?
I'm sure there's not, because she would have definitely...
Yeah, but I mean, I just want to kind of cross our T's and dot our I's.
Vaginismus?
Yeah, vaginismus.
Okay. Okay. Treatment. Okay.
Because
it just says women can do exercises. It says vaginismus is when the muscles of a woman's vagina squeeze or spasm when something is entering it, like a tampon or a penis. It can range from mildly uncomfortable to quite painful. It says, well, let me know the symptoms. It says...
Did you see anything regarding a cure?
Treatment.
Just, okay.
Women with vaginismus can do exercises at home to learn to control and relax the muscles around their vagina. This is called progressive desensitization. What's the word?
You said it.
Okay. And the idea is to get comfortable with insertion. Squeeze the muscles, hold them for 2 to 10 seconds, relax the muscles, do Kegels, and all types of things. It doesn't work for everybody, but it does work for some. Women whose vaginismus is linked to fear or anxiety, therapy often helps.
Okay. So, I just wanted to get a little familiar with what we're talking about before I give any type of an opinion. So if I were her, and she probably has already done this, I would rule out what you just read regarding it being a result of anxiety. And if that's the case, then seek therapy, because that might have some type of positive effect on it. If not, I'm sure that she's probably exhausted everything. She said since she was 20 or in her 20s, she's probably exhausted everything that can be done. And she probably knows that this is what her condition is, and she's at an impasse, right? So at this point, from what I understand, what she's asking of us is how to tell him, but also I would throw in, how do you cope your entire life not having intercourse? Now, let me ask you this, because I'm not a man. I don't know what it feels like to have a penis. Can you imagine being with someone for, say, 3 months? Because actually, when you were reading the email, I was nodding my head like, wow, okay, you guys have been together 3 months and you haven't, had sex yet. Like, that's great. That's rare. And then you went on to explain what she's suffering from. Can you imagine a situation where, say, you're dating someone for 3 months and, it's about that time in your mind, and they tell you that, they're not capable of having intercourse, and they go on to explain to you why. Let's say you're really into her and she's everything that you want from what you can see in these 3 months. Can you see carrying on with the notion of a lifetime not being able to have intercourse?
If I really like the person and I feel like that person is for me, yes. Yes, okay.
So you can deal the rest of your life just having oral sex and other forms of intimacy, obviously.
She has a butt.
Well, I didn't think of that. You know what? I'm not even going to front. That's not my thing. But that could be That's actually great advice because I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, open up the back door.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that can certainly be an alternative.
Yeah, open up the back door, and what you need to do is you need to get the back door open, so you start doing things to open up the back door. What's the thing?
Put a little wedge in there.
Yeah, I'm
Put a
saying.
little wedge in there.
What's the thing that they put in the butts?
A butt plug.
They put a butt plug,
Mm-hmm.
and then you got the butt beads. You put the butt beads, whatever
Anal beads.
Anal beads.
Yeah.
You put all that in your butt.
All of it. Just
Put it all
one
in
time.
all in your butt.
Mm-hmm.
Let it stretch out your butt, and then your butt is your new vagina.
Your butt is your new vagina. I'm not gonna front. Like I'm actually yeah, that's great.
And then you just got to work
Advice.
on your mouth game. Make sure your mouth game is so amazing that they like, I don't even want anything else. But that's what you have to do. I mean,
Yes.
yeah, I mean, if you don't like having sex with the vagina, you use your butt and figure it out, and you tell them early. You know what I mean? What? Just make sure your butt's clean all the time.
Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Rashawn.
That's all I got to say. Just use your butt.
Okay, I need to get back to being serious. Okay. Yeah.
And that's the name of this podcast. Just use your butt. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's great advice. I'm just wondering if that condition, because it's spasms of the muscle in the vagina, and that's close to the anus. So I'm wondering if those spasms affect the anus as well.
I mean, if he likes you, then, you figure it out. You let him know. I mean, there's many different ways. I mean, she could titty fuck him. You know what I mean?
Rashawn.
How else can I say that? What's the proper way that I can say it? Because I thought about it and I say, what's the proper way to say it? There's no proper way to say titty fuck.
Okay. I'm going to leave you be. I'm going to let you live. Okay. All right. So your advice is to find alternatives. And I think that's great. But at the same time, a lot of girls...
We're back to it. But go ahead.
A lot of girls don't feel comfortable at all doing that as well.
What? Titty?
Anal.
Oh.
But as of late, because I remember years ago, there were a lot of men that would say nah, I would never do that. I would never do that. But as of late, I feel like almost every guy that I've ever heard speak on it loves it. And I've heard of some guys that like it more than vaginal sex because they say that it's tighter. So it can be a plus. So if she's never done that, that could be a great route. But
every time she says butt, can you just put a butt there? Because he said it 9 times. It's butt. Go ahead.
But I think that it would be shocking for him to hear. So let's talk about how she would tell him.
Hey, babe, do you know what Vaginismus is?
Vaginismus?
Whatever.
Right. Is
That's Christmas. Or whatever it is. You know what that is?
Vagichristmas?
He's gonna be like,
is that
no.
what you just said?
He'll be like, no, I don't know what that is. And I wouldn't tell him until we got a little intimate, right? Give him a little mouth game, a little jaw game. He's going to give you jaw game. Just don't, you can even say, no, not tonight. Next morning, you tell him, hey, everything was amazing. You ate me out wonderfully. This, that, and the other. But have you ever heard of vaginismus? And he's going to be like, no, because most men never heard of it. And he'll be like, well, that's where, if anything that gets inserted into my vagina, it burns. And he's going to be like, what? And be like, imagine, you get that long candle right there and you burn it and I stick it in your ass. That feeling, that's how I feel in my vagina. And there's nothing I can do. I've been trying treatment. I've been trying exercises. I've been trying all these different things and it still hurts. So we can try to have sex. I don't think I'm going to enjoy it because I think it hurts. So we can try it. Hopefully it doesn't. But if it does, I just want you to know early on. But I have an option.
Do you get a butt?
My option is my butt. He's going to be like, what? Yeah.
Is that how you would want her to say it? But we have options. My butt. Is that how you would want her to say it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But we have options and be like,
Now, how about I'm capable of anal sex?
You can say that.
You can have my butt.
You got my butt.
Come on, Rashawn, that's not sexy. If I tell you, hey, you want some butt? You wouldn't.
I'm like, yeah.
You'd be like, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay. But that's what you should do. You should say, tell him that I can't, but we can try. And if it doesn't work, we can try anal. And, if you like that, we can continue on. And if he likes you and hopefully he's understanding and you guys can work it out.
I love everything you just said. I completely agree with you. Good job.
All right.
Hey.
All right. What do you have your hand up for?
Of course you would come up with that.
That's not saying, well, what if his girl allowed him to have a sexual partner on the side? That's not going to happen. They've only been dating 3 months. I'm not going to let you smash shorty on the side and you get all that vagina and I'm stuck here. No, it's not going to happen. Shut up, Esther.
Why would she introduce a woman into the relationship that can provide him with something that she can't? It's not like, we both have it and, because we have this connection, I'm not worried about her. I don't have that. You do. So now I'm inviting someone in to have a leg up on me or to have a vagina up on me? Like, no. He obviously wants the relationship as well.
Why are you arguing with him?
arguing with him?
It's 3 months. Why are you arguing?
It's 3 months. So yeah, no.
Right. Well, don't forget, you can always email us.
No. What are you doing? We need another email.
thecaseycrew@gmail.com. I'm about to. Calm down.
You would. Wasn't he just trying to wrap up? Esther, wasn't he just trying to wrap up? Don't try to wrap up prematurely. Anyway, if you have an email that you want to send, you can send it to the Casey Crew.
All right, well, let's get to another.
THEE.
Let's get to another email of the week. Hey guys, South Texas here. Well, shout out to everybody in Texas. I know you guys are going through a lot. Hold your head. We continue to pray for you guys. And I just hope that, the people and the millionaires and billionaires in Texas and the governor and the mayor does what's right. And shout to Trader Truth and Mr. Rogers that's out there actually helping the people on the ground. So salute to y'all. We'll be continuing praying for you guys. Now, it says South Texas here. So I'm just going to get to the point. I've known my significant other since we were 15. We are 28 now. Since then, we were off and on, more off than on until we were 25. My guy was always pursuing me since basically high school. He had no other girlfriends, literally nothing but wanting to be with me. I moved away to college, talked to other guys, just lived life. We also gravitated back to each other. So at young 25, we were serious, and after about 8 months, we got pregnant. We moved in with each other. My family is very conservative. I grew up in the church. And my soul, I don't know what my soul. Oh, thank you. My significant other asked me if at the time getting married would make me feel more comfortable because of my family. I said absolutely not, because I didn't want him to think I only married him because we were having a baby. I've always been extremely secretive about my business, so not even my fam knew about how serious our relationship was. Fast forward to us being 28 now. We have a 2-year-old and he hasn't asked to marry me. I feel like maybe he didn't want to, what he wanted so badly before. I know I'm an amazing mom and I know I'm an amazing homemaker. We had said that I would stay home with our baby the first year and then go back to work. He turned 1 and the next week, literally, the whole world had to go into quarantine. He's a captain firefighter and EMT, so we've been stable and I've stayed home for 2 years now. I brought up marriage twice and he said we don't have money to have a wedding. I said I don't care about a huge wedding. I'd go to the courthouse. He kind of brushed the idea off. His mom introduces me to her friends as his wife, and I've gotten to the point where I call her out. I say, no, I'm not a wife. I haven't gone in front of God to vow my love and dedication to him. That's important to me. I just don't know if an ultimatum is the right way to go. I talked to my sister and I told her a year from now, if he hasn't proposed, I'm gone. I don't feel like I'm enough for him or good enough because he hasn't proposed yet. Am I crazy? Am I wasting time? Thanks for getting this far in my email. Love y'all.
Well, I'll say this. The baby is now 2. The baby turned 1 and then COVID hit.
Correct.
Is what she said. COVID really did throw a curveball in a lot of people's life plans.
Everything. Absolutely.
It affects relationships, the way people interact with one another. We've talked about that on previous podcasts. I'm not saying that they're going through that, but that is a fact of life now for some people. And it hit most people financially. So when he says, we can't afford a wedding, maybe that is something that he wants, or even if he doesn't want it for himself, maybe that's something that he wants to do for her. Mm-hmm. Those are just possibilities that were running through my head as you were reading the email. Or it can be what she fears. Maybe he really just doesn't want to get married. And maybe, COVID is a convenient excuse. Not that he used it as an excuse, but I would imagine maybe in their discussions, it might have come up like, this is a terrible time right now. The world is suffering and we don't know what the future looks like, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know how her finances or her job is affected. So I could see that possibly being a problem. This actually brings up something that we're watching on TV right now. We're watching Bling Empire on Netflix, and we're only on, I think, episode 3. And there's a couple who have a child, and I would say the child is about 1 or 2-ish, right? A girl, and they're on their second child, and she wants to get married.
Correct.
And he is not proposing. He made a promise. He said, I promise you that a proposal is coming. Mm-hmm. And she said, a proposal is not a promise. And all I can speak on is how I would feel. She told him that she's not into a big wedding. A lot of people get married in front of a judge and then have the wedding afterwards, because realistically, a wedding is about 2 people. It's not really about the show. It's not really about, and don't get me wrong, I wanted my big wedding as well. But if it came down to it and money for a wedding is an issue, my priority is the person that I'm with and having that commitment and that vow before God that she says that she wants. So I don't know. I mean, I feel that if I was with somebody and I'm on my second child, and I've let them know that the wedding isn't the priority, and they told me that they didn't want to get married now, they're making promises, they're humming and hawing, or anything else that's preventing them from proposing, I'm going to take it as you don't want to marry me, you are unsure, or you want to play the field, or whatever, insert blank. You know what I mean? And that wouldn't sit well with me. I don't like the idea of ultimatums at all. I don't want somebody to just pacify me. I don't want somebody to do something because they want me to stop nagging. I don't want someone to ultimately do something that they in their heart do not want to do, because that's patronizing me. Who wants to get married under those circumstances? Like you start off with a bad start. So I definitely wouldn't give him an ultimatum, which is how she kind of ended the email. What do you think she should do?
It's funny because the email before this was something we were watching in Bling Empire, and this email is something we were talking about in Bling Empire.
What was in Bling Empire from the other email?
Remember the guy was like, your girl wants more anal? Right?
She sure did.
But anyway.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and this is going to sound so elementary. I think y'all should have a conversation. I mean, you said every time you try to have a conversation, he kind of brushes you off, but I think it should be to the point where there is no brush off. Y'all sit down and have a real conversation. Because Gia said maybe the reason he doesn't want to have a wedding is because he wants a big wedding. Maybe his mother wants to have a big wedding, and this is something that he desires and he's saving towards. And that could be fine, but you just want to know that he's saving towards. And like you said, that you don't feel like I'm important enough to marry. You don't love me enough to marry me, to make me your wife, to do these vows in front of God. Let's say maybe it might be a good reason, and maybe you're overthinking it. Maybe he is saving. Maybe he wants a big wedding. Maybe he's thinking of a way to do it because the pandemic is here and he doesn't want to bring family together, and maybe somebody catches COVID or at a super spreader event. So these are the conversations I think that you should have with him, especially the fact that he is a fireman and he does work for EMT and he sees people that are sick and have all these problems. So I would have that conversation with him first. And if it's none of that, then, I get it. Like, I don't want to be your girlfriend forever. I don't want to be your significant other forever, And if that's the way that you feel, then yeah, you might say, you know what, I'm going to give you a timeline. If it's not there by this time, then it's not for me. This situation is not for me. But I definitely would have that conversation and see where his mind is, where his head at, and don't let him just brush it off because it's important to you. If it's important to you, he should know that it's important to you. And he might be brushing you off because when he asked you about it before, you said nah. So he might be thinking, I don't want to pressure her. So I think that you guys should both have a conversation and get everything out in the open.
So you like the idea of an ultimatum?
Not an ultimatum, but I think
if you give somebody a timeline, that's almost the definition.
That's not necessarily
ultimatum.
If
you don't marry me by, or if you don't propose by such and such a time, then I'm leaving you.
But I wouldn't tell him.
That's an ultimatum.
I wouldn't tell him the ultimatum. I would keep it. I would keep it in my head.
Right.
I wouldn't be like, "Oh, you have to do this." I would give myself a time. You know.
Right. That's what I was thinking.
6 months after pandemic, 3 months after pandemic, and if not, then you got to do what you got to do. You know, you got to reassess the situation and decide what you want to do. But that's what I would do.
Right. I would give myself a timeline. Like what cartoon was that? Oh, Popeye. That's all I can stand and I can't stand no more.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have to decide what works for you. Like how much more can you stand? Like how much slack are you willing to give him before your pride, your ego, and those aren't good words, but part of it is a bit of pride and ego because when you expect something from someone that you love and you're waiting so long and you don't get it, it really does hurt your pride, your ego, and your security. You know, and it's the proof is in the email because she says, you know, I'm starting, how did she put it? I'm starting to feel like I'm not good enough or something like that, right? That's how it would make a person feel. That would be difficult for me to deal with. For me to know that I love him so much and to be so secure in my feelings for him and for that feeling to not be reciprocated to a point where I feel like I'm the one that has to sit him down and have a conversation where I'm pretty much trying to walk him down the aisle of the idea of getting married. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm trying to convince him. Like that just doesn't sit well with me. I feel as though, yeah, I mean, I guess a little bit of pride really is involved because for me, I would just wait and see if it happens. And if it doesn't by a time that I'm okay with, then I would probably have to say, okay, it's time for us to part ways. Yeah.
And good luck. And please keep us, you know, let us know how it works out and go into the conversation with an open mind. Let's see what he's feeling first. Don't just assume and then go from there. And good luck. Now, if you want to email us, you can, thekcrew@gmail.com. That's THEEKCrew@gmail.com. All right, it's time to get up out of here. And I will see you guys next week. All right. All right, I'm DJ Envy.
And I'm Gia Casey.
And that was another edition of the KC Crew.
Doodles.